Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queer Games. Heck yeah! Uh, I'm Luke Miller. I'm game dev. I love queer games. Helping out with Queer Games Festival, taking screenshots. So I'm playing through the games. So I thought I'd stream them anyway, just to kind of give a bit of flavor of the games. Just have a good look at them, like for half an hour. Give you an idea whether you want to play the game or not. Point you in the right direction for where you can get it, and probably talk it up a little bit. Even if it's terrible, even if it's the worst game I've ever played, I wouldn't let you know that. I would smile and I would say, there's a lot of charm to this game. They've really worked really hard on it. You should give it a go. Because my word means nothing. You can't trust my advice. Everything's a 10 out of 10. If everything's a 10 out of 10, then nothing is a 10 out of 10. Anyway, how are you? I hope you're having a good day, or about to have a good day, or had a good day. I'm having an okay day. I'm right. This is the week where I've got to get all the prep work for the Queer Games Festival across the table. There's no time to delay. We've just got to get through it. Why do I love queer games? I love queer games because they're at the forefront. They're the vanguard. They're ahead of the curve of gaming. The trends you see in queer games today, the rest of the world will see years from now when they're like old and tired. Contemporary, realism, focus on real characters. I give a spiel every video. Go back to the earlier ones when I was really invested in giving the spiel, and you'll see what I mean. As always, I'm on Twitch, so if you want to jump into chat, go right ahead. Although, having said that, I don't think I've been able to I don't really quite know how to get people to view it on Twitch. So I think I'm more of a YouTube person, so you're probably watching this on YouTube. But that's okay, nobody's perfect. What's there left to do? Yeah, I think we should get into it. I don't know if you noticed, today's stream started with ye oldie Queer Games Heck Yeah title. I thought because we're, almost ending our run here, we've had like 80 games to look through, and we're running out of games. But I thought I'd bring back the very first title for a little bit of nostalgia. Yeah, I don't know, like a little celebration that we're almost done. What's today's game? I don't know. Do you know? Because I don't know. Well, we're going to find out together. I know nothing about these games going in, so if you don't like surprise content, look away. They could be rude, they could be really dark, they could be, I don't know, really awkward culturally. Who knows? Who gives a heck? Anyway, we're just going to do it. It's called The Divine Speaker. Okay, you probably knew that before me, because you probably saw the title, whereas I haven't even looked at it. What's to say about it? I will say that on the website, from what I can tell, this is the most expensive game in the festival. So normally I'm like, just buy the games, people. They're a pittance. The kids are undercharging for their work. And all the games so far have been an impulse buy. They've been below that threshold where you're like, I don't even need to think about this. I can spend the money, like $2, $6. A couple have been like $20. And even that, you're kind of like, well, that's for something I really want, that's probably doable. I think this one was like $40. And so, I'm like, good on you for charging a lot of money, but, that's getting up there for an indie game, I think. Oh, but now I feel really bad for even saying that, because it's like, you should charge what it's worth. Maybe all games should be $40. Well, that would make them a little bit inaccessible, because we are competing against like books and movies and stuff. Alright, let's start. Oh, what are the settings? Voice acting on. Stream mode. What's stream mode? We're streaming. This could be for us. Ah. Okay. This will make it a little less rude, I guess. Which I'm like, I kind of wish we could just all let it hang out. Like, I'm not a nudist, but I'm like pro nudity. And because I'm just kind of like, who cares really? Like, other than hygiene, who really cares? But we live in like a Puritan age, and so I do kind of grapple a little bit with like, how much can you show? before you kind of, upset the freaks. So we'll play it safe, we'll play a little bit safe, and a little piece of me will die inside, but that's the way it is. If there's voiceover, then this is going to be the cruisiest stream.
The birth of a child heralds many things. Change, adaptation, confusion, but most importantly... Okay, this is me. Okay, there is some work I have to do. The judgment. The judgment. A newly born child's first destination isn't its mother's arms, but the embrace of another. The divine speaker. The person tasked with determining a child's destiny from the day they are born till the day they die. This destiny is determined by lottery. The speaker's hand, guided by the forces above, always chooses the correct fate for the correct child. This judgment guides them on the path to eventually becoming the person they were always destined to be.
Is it really a game if you don't actually have to do anything but just sit there and watch and listen?
Rain, could we pretty please go play outside?
Okay, real voice acting. That's really cool. Okay, now I'm understanding why it's a little bit pricier. Because this is the holy grail of, indie game, I reckon, is full voiceover. Because it's just so hard to kind of organize. Because you're always changing the script right up into the last minute. Okay, well.
We promise to be back before it gets dark.
Creepy little kids. What is with visual novels and creepy little kids? It's like shaking hands. Oh, I quickly glanced over at the matron's direction, and she gave me a short nod. I didn't really have the authority to tell them what they could do, but that never stopped them coming to ask me. Oh well, I don't mind. Okay, he's handsome. And I like his jacket. I like that jacket a lot. I do find it amusing in visual novels when there's voiceover for the words, but the internal dialogue you have to read out yourself. And so, their internal dialogue, they sound like Steve Irwin. Crikey! But then when they talk, it's like full on, hey buddy, want a hot dog?
Alright, but make sure to be back before sundown. And don't go anywhere close to the forest, okay?
He has a pleasantly gay voice.
Thank you, Rain! We promise we won't!
But why aren't we allowed to ever play there? Can we go when we're adults?
I hope the audio levels are right. You're kind of on your own when it's full voiceover and my microphone and the music. I'm a little bit I don't know if I've got the levels right, so sorry guys.
No, you can't.
But why?
No, you can't.
It's not fair.
I let out a small sigh but felt a small smile rising on my face. Crikey. I couldn't help chuckling at their curiosity. They would ask the same question every time they wanted to go out and play.
Come over here and I'll explain it to you.
I walked over to the table at the far end of the hall. The top was littered with paper, children's books and pencils. Buried among them was a map. Oh, it's a map.
Look closely at this map while I explain. Our home, Aurelia Cavella, is surrounded on all sides by the forest.
This is what I mean about visual novels. So we played a visual novel the other day, and it was really good at not giving you an info dump at the very start. It just kind of let you find the build up the world just through just little things that people said as you went along. What was it called? Nameless was the name of the visual novel. That was its name. It wasn't a nameless visual novel. The name of the visual novel was Nameless. Forget it. And I think this one is giving me the info dump.
The forest is full of bad guys and dangerous animals. Do you know why?
No.
Because the divine beings don't protect the outside land.
Oh, they're not very divine.
That's right. The beings above protect us while we are inside Aurelia Cavella. But that protection doesn't extend outside of our land. No one can survive out there. That's why everyone lives here, where we can be safe and happy. I know it might seem unfair now, but you'll understand when you're older that we're just trying to protect you.
I like the Viking runes for the town names. What does that mean?
There's just nothing out there to find. The forest goes on infinitely, with us right at the center.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Everyone in the entire world lives here?
I guess some people might find it annoying to answer the same questions every day. Not me, though. They're curious, and I can't blame them. When I was their age, I asked exactly the same questions to the older kids.
That's right. That's the way it's always been.
But what's this place over there? Zuras?
She pointed to a place to the north of the city with its name Azorus written underneath it on the map.
Ah, Azeros? I don't really know much about it, but once you get old, and not old like me, I mean ancient, the divine beings in the speaker reward you for your lifetime of serving them. All the elders go to live there alone in peace and relaxation.
Uh-oh, I'm getting a little Soylent Green vibe off this. This medieval village in the middle of nowhere, and these divine beings who just happen to look a lot like people who have, iPhones.
I hear it's pretty luxurious, but I've never been there. You can only go when you're called upon.
The kids looked up at me, obviously interested in hearing more. Were they? There just wasn't much more to say. No one really knew what it was like in there. Gee, they're the most incurious villagers I think I've ever seen, since maybe The Village. The speaker tells us about the luxuries of Azurios, and it makes us all work all the more harder to one day get in there. That's all we know about it. Yep, it's just a giant blender.
Now go out and play before the sun starts setting.
They both scurried off out the door, you little scamps, jumping and running and screaming the whole way. Oh, they really are cute. I'm so happy to have such a great family here. Tobias, Mia, all the others. You're all so wonderful. You, and the rest of you. They're like my brothers and sisters. Well, technically, I don't have a real family, but they've always been more than enough. I was dumped on the side of the road as a baby and ended up here. Ouch. By the way, I'm just going to say what a really nice text box this game has. Maybe for the last time. I don't know, I must stay strong. I'm going to stay strong for all of you. You know, a world without queer games, heck yeah. It scarcely bears thinking about, but, we've got to prepare ourselves. I never knew my parents, so it's hard to get angry about it when growing up here has been so good.
Rain, may I speak with you for a moment?
I looked towards the voice that I knew so well, the matron of my orphanage, a tough woman, but caring beyond belief. She has looked after me my entire life, along with dozens of other children.
Of course, ma'am. What do you need? I hope it was okay to let the children out to play for the day.
No, it's nothing about that. I'd just like to have a chat. You've been with us for a long time already. I found you in the gutters about 18 years ago today.
Ouch. Does she have to remind us of that every time we talk? I mean, honestly, matron. I don't believe her at all, by the way. He's clearly, like, Prince of the Realm or something, or he fell out of an aeroplane, or I don't know. Has it been that long already? It's true that I should be coming of age about now, so she probably thinks it's about time for me to be moving on.
Yes, it has been a long time. If you give me a few days, I'll say goodbye to the children and start packing up.
What? I think you misunderstand.
She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small envelope.
This is for you.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Oh.
Go and get yourself something nice.
I mean, it's a medieval world on an alien planet, right? So what is something nice? It's just going to be like some sort of weird mango fruit. I don't know.
Also, don't think you're getting out of here anytime soon. I'd go out of my mind answering those questions every day.
Oh. She pushed the envelope into my hands and walked away, brusque as ever.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll head out and pick up the groceries you asked me to get earlier then. Be back soon.
Yeah. The old heavy door groaned as I pushed against it. I stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air and enjoying the sunlight. It's a very polished game. It's a good-looking game. I guess this is what happens when, there's a bit of money involved. You know what I mean? There's a little bit extra to cross your T's and dot your I's. Yeah, it's nice. The sun was high up in the sky and a nice breeze soared through the city. It was a beautiful day. But I couldn't help but notice that the flowers were in full bloom yesterday were already wilting. Maybe nobody had watered them this morning.
Anyway,
I guess that must mean today's my birthday. It's not like I didn't realize it was coming up. Although there seems to be some sort of artifacting on the text a little bit on my screen. It's not like I didn't realize it was coming up sometime soon, but it wasn't really at the front of my mind. It's never been a big deal to me. Ooh, an actual picture of him reading the letter. You know, this game had a bit of cash. I've played quite a few visual novels this series about where they've had to do a lot. The words have had to do a lot of the work. I picked up the fry pan and hit him over the head, and it's like it's just the same character on the screen. It's like then I got into the bath, and it's the same character on the screen. You know, here it's like I looked at the letter, picture of the letter. I looked closely at the envelope in my hands, white and simple. This is the first time I've ever been given a birthday present. Were they able to bleach paper in this medieval world? That seems kind of recent. That seems like a kind of a mid-tech thing to be able to do. I'm almost scared to open it. I'm scared to open it. I almost want to leave it sealed. It's kind of scary being given something out of nowhere. Curiosity was beginning to get the better of me, though. It's always been a problem of mine. Okay, so I think what they're doing is all the text is on the screen, and then they're covering it up with like a box, and then sort of revealing the box. But it's not quite covering up the tops of the I's and the T's on the lines below. So if you look at the text coming across, there may be like artifacting on the video, but I'm watching the pure version here on my screen. As the text's revealing, the line below it, you can just see the tops of the letters. It's a little bit distracting.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
I tore the seal open in one fell swoop.
Oh my. By the gods.
Inside was 10 marks, which was more money than I'd ever seen in my entire life. It's a lot of money for a snowman. And a letter addressed to me.
Let's see. Dear Rain.
Dear Rain.
Oh, that's the matron. I am your mother.
Happy birthday, my dear. I'm sorry we couldn't afford much to give you, but I hope it's enough for you to get something you like. The kids have been saving up just for you.
How are those kids in a medieval orphanage earning money? They're down a coal mine somewhere, aren't they?
From the day I found you, I've always thought of you as a son. Now that you're of age, it won't be long until you will be matched up yourself and have your own children. Until that day, please stay with us at the orphanage. Both the children and I would be lost without you. I'm sure if your parents saw you now, they would be proud of you, just like I am.
I like the matron's voice. Like, I know the matron's meant to be this kind of brusque character, but the voice has got a warmth to it that's quite nice.
Yours, Matron Arala.
I couldn't stop myself. My eyes welled up instantly, crikey, and overflowed all over the letter. Oh. That's clever.
Thank you.
They saved all this just for me? I can't let them down. I'll go buy something amazing to share with them. With determination, I started on my way to the marketplace, envelope and money buried in my clothing. Uh-oh. We're gonna lose that money, aren't we? The markets were just past the town square on the west side of Auralia Cavella. The town square it's beautiful art. The town square was where the new children came for their judgments, and where the speaker made his proclamations.
The beings above sing praise for the contributions you have given to our humble home. Likewise, they implore you to continue giving your lives over to them, for they provide you with protection from the evils lurking inside the forest.
Skeptical. I'm skeptical.
Huh. Looks like the divine speaker is declaring something right now.
A public holiday. He was dressed head to toe in white and gold, the definition of elegance in his ceremonial gowns. His long, silvery white hair reached down his back neatly.
I understand your frustrations about our failed crops. But do not worry yourselves, for the beings above have a reason for everything. Soon you will see why they have put you through these trials.
Yes, Lord Speaker!
The failed crops? I think I heard a little bit about the situation from the matron. It seemed that this was the first time in hundreds of years that they had failed this badly, and there's some worried about whether we'll have enough or not this winter.
Yes, Lord Speaker.
Crikey, before I knew it, I was in the crowd, chanting along with the other residents. The eloquent and beautiful way he spoke was almost hypnotizing. The most highly respected person in all of Aurelia Cavella, second only to the gods. Just being in his presence was amazing. The whole time he spoke, the crowd stood memorized, and I was so immersed, I didn't even notice... Oh, sorry about that. I hit the mute button, but I don't know if it was actually muted or not. Anyway, I sneezed, and it was really good. It was a real echoey sneeze too. I didn't even notice when he was already nearly finished.
In due time, all of you shall be rewarded with the freedom that Azeros brings. With this in mind, I hope you will continue your offerings and duties. Thank you.
Duties. Applause exploded? I mean, I don't know if you can hear that. That sounds more like a smattering of applause. As he finished his speech, smiling, he waved and cast his eyes around the crowd. I'm like kind of hostile to the whole thing, because I'm sensing a bit of a con job here. So I'm like, if I'm being like nitpicky, it's because the game has got my hackles up. Because I don't trust this fellow. I waved and cheered along with the crowd before his eyes met mine. Almost instantly, a shock ran through my body. I'm screenshotting as well. It's a good one. Oh. Heard? The shock changed to heat, and heat changed to burning. Before I knew it, I crumpled to the ground, grasping for air. But it felt like my lungs were on fire. Every breath burned my insides even more. Crikey! Everyone around me was watching me, but worst of all were his eyes, the speaker's. I could still feel his eyes boring into me, as if he could see everything, even secrets you kept in the darkest part of your soul. What's the secret I'm keeping in the darkest part of my soul? I've got nothing. I'm an open book. Alright, here we go. Sometimes for dinner, I just eat a tin of tuna. There we go. Just straight from the tin. I'm not proud. But it's so tasty. It's so easy. Just put a bit of pepper on it. Hide my shame. Hide it. Look, not every meal can be like a 3-course triumph, you know? Everyone around me was watching me. Oh yes, we've done that bit. I have to escape them now. Was that our thought or his thought? I forced myself back to my feet. I ran as fast as I could and ducked into a nearby alleyway. What's happening? I could feel the world around me getting darker, blurrier. You know, I think visual novels... Now, what's that style? It's sort of like Renaissance steampunk. So not quite steampunk, but like pre-steampunk punk. Like pre-Raphaelite punk or whatever. Like that sort of Golden Compass, sort of airships, and Arcane does it a bit as well. I don't, sort of 1700s punk. I think visual novels do it really well. And I think this game... I think it's sitting in that vibe a little bit. You know, it's like there's aqueducts and metalwork, but there's probably maybe not steam engines. I fell to the ground in a fetal position, sobbing. Abruptly, the pain started to move. It concentrated itself into my left arm with the force of all my previous pain put together.
Anyone, please.
I shuddered, clutching my arm and enduring the scalding pain before my vision went black. I love that eye closing
You
effect.
must protect.
You must protect. I'm taking screenshots. Is this a good screenshot? Is this a fair screen? I ask this whenever I'm taking a screenshot. I'm like, is this a fair screenshot of this game? Probably not, but you got to mix it up.
Awaken. Judgment.
Oh, they've even got nighttime versions of the daytime scenes. This is a luxe game. If you're looking for something a little upmarket in your queer gaming, definitely I think this game is maybe, got the chops, as we say. I blinked a few times trying to work out where I was. Has he hulked out? Is that what's happened? I tried to work out where I was. The darkness that surrounded my vision wore off slowly as I sat up.
That's right. I was in the town square, listening to the speaker, and then...
Crikey. Did I collapse here? I quickly checked over my body. The pain was completely gone.
Huh?
Oh.
What? What is this?
It's a good-looking game. There's no denying. Taking more screenshots. Oh no. He's got a cheap tattoo. His guardian has given him $10 and he's gone into town on his 18th birthday and gotten a tramp stamp. He's a bit of a bad boy. He's up for a bit of fun. When I looked closer, I noticed something that hadn't been there before. Oh, the tattoo was pre-existing. He's just noticed a new freckle. Some kind of strange markings running down my arm. It's not a language I've ever seen before. Aliens. My first instinct was to try and scratch them off, but it was like it was branded onto my skin. It wasn't going anywhere.
I have to get back to the orphanage. They won't know where I am.
Crikey, when I left the sun was still high in the sky, but now it's already night. How long have I been out? I stood up slowly, holding onto the wall for balance. The burning sensation was gone, and all I was left with was a sore body. Must be from collapsing onto the ground.
Where am I? I guess I'll head back the way I came.
Through the thick darkness, I followed the alleyway back the way I came, desperate for this all to be a dream. After a little searching, I somehow found my way back to the town square. A few people buzzed about, doing last-minute shopping or chatting with each other. I clutched my branded arm close to my chest, making sure to keep it out of view. I don't know what they'd do if they saw it. I don't even know what it is. I couldn't help glancing around nervously, like some kind of thief worried about getting busted. That's why I didn't notice when I ran headlong into someone and got knocked off my feet.
Ouch!
Ouch. Oh. I looked up at the person standing over me. That's a ridiculous amount of abs. There's like 18 abs there. He was a tall, lean man, probably in his 20s, with dark red hair that reached down his back and a serious look on his face.
I'm so sorry.
He stood there for a moment, just watching me. His gaze made me nervous. It was like a snake sizing up its prey. Oh. That's when I noticed it wasn't me he was staring at, but my arm. I instinctively clutched my arm to my chest.
Is this where you usually spend your time bumping into people, or do you have a few favorite spots?
What? No. I don't usually bump...
Oh, I guess this is a privilege then. I feel lucky.
My mouth just kind of hung open. What's this guy's problem? I don't think I've ever met someone so rude. Oh, this is a classic visual novel. You know, the antagonistic duo at the beginning. Oh, but the sparks are flying.
I'm very sorry for running into you. I was just trying to get home quickly too.
I'm not feeling it. I don't think this is a good match though, these two. I think we can do better, Rayan.
To hide whatever that is on...
Again, all I could do was look at him in shock. Have they not seen tattoos before? Clearly the overlords or whatever are a little bit, you know... No tattoos, no piercings. We stared at each other for a moment before He held his hand out. It's very 1984, right? You set up your community and you don't give them any like images of tattoos or tattoo equipment. How will they ever know that they can tattoo their skin? It's like by deleting the words, they're unable to conceptualize it. Again, all I could do was look at him in shock. We stared at each other for a moment before he held his hands out to me. His hand out to me?
Let me help you up. If you stay down there long enough, people will start to think you're part of the scenery.
Doesn't he get cold? His kidneys are exposed. And it doesn't look warm there. Oh, take his hand, stand up for yourself. We're going to stand up for ourselves. I looked at his outstretched hand, but decided against taking it. Who needs help from someone as rude as him? I still don't quite see how he's been rude. Like, we bumped into him and he made a joke.
Thank you, but I'm perfectly capable of standing up myself.
You know, we're an orphan. We're closed off, you know, we struggle to open up to other people.
I'll be leaving now. Sorry for causing you trouble.
I quickly turned to leave. This guy's the last person I want to be wasting my time on.
Wait a second. I know something about the markings on your arm.
I whirled around to face him again, faster than I've ever moved before.
You do?
Whoops.
I mean, you do? What do you know about?
I know the speaker keeps tomes written with the same markings in his personal archive. He's actually allowing visitors, but tonight only.
Oh,
Too bad you seem so busy. This might be the last time it's ever open to the public. Anyway, good night.
The red-haired man turned around and slipped off into the shadows. I was left with his words just hanging in the air.
I guess one more slight detour wouldn't hurt. I'm already late as it is.
I bit my lip, thinking hard on his words. There's no way I could miss this chance. If it's the only way to find out what these markings mean, then, determined, I turned towards the direction of the speaker's archives. It took a while to walk across town to the speaker's palace. It was large, but mostly empty, seeing he was the only resident. This is the first time I've ever heard of anyone being allowed into his personal archives, though. I think even the Lord has restricted access. Maybe this is my lucky day after all? I walked up to the door and knocked lightly.
Hello? Speaker? Are you home?
I do like these small towns. You can just go up to like the mayor's house and just knock on the door going, oh hey, can I like hold the scepter? Sure, come on in. When I knocked, the door swung open. It was already unlocked. I could see light from inside.
I guess he's probably already in there, showing the archives to other people.
He's dead. I opened the door further and allowed a corridor and followed a corridor down to another door that was slightly ajar. Oh, it's nice. When I entered the room, I almost toppled over in astonishment. Thankfully I didn't, since it would have been the third time I fell over in a single day. Bookshelves lined the walls, going up to the ceiling. Tomes and documents littered every surface. The hazy light of the candles flickered all over only furthered my... And the hazy light the candles flickered all over only furthered my amazement. Sounds like a fire hazard. It was beautiful. Never in my life had I seen this many books. That is a nice amount of books. That's just the right amount of books. I walked in further, feeling the spines of my fingers and smelling the musty scent of the room. Don't touch the books. What? Get your old monkey grease all over them. Various books littered the tabletop in the center of the room. I walked closer to them. I read some of the titles. A Brief History, Sidkayam, Bloodlines. There were thousands of books here I would love to read. Too bad he's only allowing visitors for a single day. I picked up the first book, A Brief History. I flicked through it slowly, reading a few sentences off each page. I do like that he learnt to read at the orphanage. That's a big tick in, this medieval orphanage's favour. It looked like some pages were missing. It would jump from talking about the palace being built to the animals that inhabit our land.
Let's see. Foundation? The Kingdom of Aurelia Cavella was founded by Prince Shion on the second eve of Augustus.
Interesting. I've never heard of who first founded our kingdom. This book must be really old if it's talking about that. I put the first book back in its place and moved on to Sidkayam. It was different to the other books, a journal. When I opened it, I found that every page was covered in black ink, making it unreadable. It looked like someone had a bit of an accident with this one and an inkwell, or was it purposeful? Bloodlines was next. I picked it up from the pile. I opened it to the middle. The name should have given me a clue, honestly. It was some kind of record of births. What looked like a high-class bloodline. Here we go. Oh, on this page, the bloodline started with King Shion and Sid KM, 10XX, and moved down to more recent times. It ended with Prince Caspian. I don't know, that's a little too Narnia for my liking.
I keep reading about this Sid KM.
It's like
I wonder what it
we're
means.
playing a science fiction game.
Wait a second.
It'd be like playing a science fiction game, and one of the characters is called Darth Vader. Prince Shion was the founder of our city, right? That must mean this is the royal bloodline, but why does it only start 500 years ago? Aurelia Cavella has always been here for thousands of years. Uh-oh. There must be a mistake here, surely. People had to live somewhere before then, and everybody knows there isn't anywhere inhabitable outside of our protected lands. Uh-oh. There's only here in the forest. I flicked the page over to the next one. The page was filled in strange markings in a script I'd never read before. I hurriedly pulled up my sleeve to compare them and found some matching characters. The layout was similar to that of the royal bloodline, so it must also be a list of names, but who?
It looks like the last person added to this list was 19 years ago.
Who could it be now? So absorbed in trying to work out what that meant, I didn't hear the sound of someone opening the door behind me.
Well, well, well. An intruder in my archives?
I whipped around to face the voice. It was none other than the speaker himself. I'd never seen him up so close. I hid the book instinctively inside of my cloak. Oh, is it... Who hides a book instinctively, somebody else's book instinctively in their bag, you know?
Speaker!
Take the boy out of the medieval orphanage, but you can't take the medieval orphanage out of the boy. I dropped to one knee in front of him out of respect.
Thank you so much for having the archives open today. I've never seen so many books.
Excuse me? Having the archives open?
He looked at me with visible confusion on his face.
That's right. The man in the town square. He told me.
Oh, crikey. I definitely heard him right. He said it was open to everyone, then why does the speaker look like he knows nothing about it?
I'm not sure who told you what, but my archives are off limits to all but myself.
Behind him, I could see guards appearing from every direction. Uh-oh.
Trespassing in a restricted zone is an act of treachery. The only punishment fit for someone betraying their own home is death.
Oh. I could feel my stomach drop when he said that. Death. Death? I've never heard of anyone sentenced to death. No, this is all wrong.
No, wait! But please! I'm not betraying! I just wanted to read...
I don't know what your intentions were coming here, but I must act in the best interest of both our residents and the gods. Guards, take him.
I like the divine speaker. I like the cut of his jib.
Now wait there just a minute,
Sensible
Speaker.
leadership. That's what I like. I could see someone pushing through all the guards, making their way to the front of the crowd. It was our Lord, who works with the Speaker to uphold our lands.
We're not equipped to suddenly have a public execution, Sir Speaker. We haven't needed one in years. In this case, I think it would be best to exile him. Being out there in the forest is a death sentence anyway.
Oh. My heart dropped even further. Crikey. I thought he had come to my rescue, but what he was suggesting was worse than death. No one in my lifetime had ever been exiled. The things you would endure out there would be so much nastier than the quick hanging you would get here.
Please! I didn't mean...
Silence.
He stood in front of me, his icy eyes digging into my soul. I couldn't help but think about earlier, in the town square when our eyes met. I flinched away from his gaze.
Perhaps you're right. Why dirty our own land with the blood of a criminal when we can let nature take care of it for us? Guards, take his arms. I'll escort him to the forest's edge.
Oh. Both my arms were seized by the burly guards. There was no hope of escaping. All I could do was follow behind the speaker, being pushed from behind the entire way. I hung my head in shame as I was paraded through the town. I could see faces peering at me from windows everywhere I went. This is very fast justice, isn't it? It's like... I feel like there's been a misunderstanding, and a good justice system would get to the bottom of it. All I could do was look down at the ground. Who could blame them? I would too. Shame, ding ding, shame, ding ding.
Release him. You may go. I will handle this from here.
Yeah, now we're gonna get the real story. The two guards saluted before marching off back into the town. Once we couldn't see their backs anymore, he spoke.
I don't know why you would do what you did. Nevertheless, you must now live with the consequences. This might seem unfair. It would be best for you to learn just how unfair this world can be, though.
Is the divine speaker trying to like free us from the gods? And he's like, this young kid is my only hope. I looked up into his face. I couldn't tell what he was thinking at all, but I was mesmerized. He reached out and lightly caressed my chin with his fingertips. Up close, his long eyelashes trembled in the wind, and he looked almost ethereal, like he himself was one of the beings above.
You look just like your father did.
As at that, he released my face and turned to leave.
Run. Run and don't look back. Just like he did.
Oh. His back slowly disappeared into town. I thought about going back the same way, hiding at the orphanage, but everyone just saw me being marched to town like that. There was no other choice. I had to leave with only the clothes on my back, the envelope from the matron, the book I'd stolen accidentally from the speaker, and my regret. Okay, but I mean, you've also just discovered that, you know, this guy knew your dad, that you're probably, like, blood related to some sort of royal thing, and that your dad might be alive out in the woods, and that the speaker is, like, maybe on your side. Ooh, we've locked an achievement. Well, I mean, we're going to pause there. We've done our hour. Let's quick save complete. Auto quick save. Let's just escape. Back to title. Yes. That was the divine speaker. I suspect there's a lot more to it than we got into. I mean, sometimes with the games you can kind of get feel for how far you got into it. Like, oh, we got halfway, or we got most of the way kind of thing. But this one, like, it's almost like we only got through the prologue. You know, I feel like the real game starts now in a way. I also felt the game was really holding its cards quite close to its chest. Like, what did we really find out about the other characters in the game? But other than that, the voice acting was pretty special. No complaints about the art. It was just really polished. You know, we don't see that level of polish in the Queer Games Festival that very often, and so that's got to be like a big tick. Like, if you are looking for, like, if you like visual novels, I think this would be a good one to go for. Alright, thanks for joining me on Queer Games Heck Yeah today. We're just going to keep going till we run out of games. Like, I don't quite have a final count. I think there's 1, 2, 3 left, maybe 2 left. But I will mention when it's the last one. But basically, today is the last day to take screenshots. So the reason for doing them is about to go away, because we'll have screenshots from all the games. So I don't know. Alright. Talk to you later. Bye.